Okay. This is quest 4 and 5, that's right. Well, I got some time. Alright, what do we got? Interesting. Okay, so we're doing hits into block, not breaking block. Evening, Avenger. Who's our boss, real quick? Do I have... How much do I have to plan for this? It seems like that's mainly just a big Zemo we have to take with the villain, so that's fine. Lumitrix can't really crit into block, so I'm not sure that's the way to go. Thanos can do big special twos into block. I don't know if that's the way to go either. I'll keep rolling along. Hey, Brennan, how's it going? Wolf goes unblockable. Got a lot of characters that do fantastic breaking block. This is a weird one. Like, obviously, Masakre would be great, but that means using a 6-star. Same thing with Valkyrie. We'll bring him along, but I'm, at the moment, not very happy with this. I guess Photon is a good one. I should bring her. Mega Sonic can ramp into block. Okay. Alright, let's try this. Hey, Zedra. Max, welcome. I have Lumitrix at rank 3, and I used them for 3 fights this last war. Really enjoying them. Okay, so we need to let Scourge build if we want to take advantage of that unblockable. I have to admit, I'm not really a fan of that. Bro. I should have just thrown the special one into block there, but I really thought he'd not be a jerk. Yeah, see, I don't like that. It feels like that untouchable needs a base duration. The fact that it can be so short is just not particularly fun. Yeah, see, it's just not long enough. Like, we let Scourge build for a while there, and we get hit anyway. I am not enjoying this path. You know what it is? The duration of the untouchable is fine, but it should be paused until the attacker finishes their special animation. Because it's not accounting for the animation differences. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna poke on this. Honestly, Cedra, I can't even start to touch that one. Because I can't keep track of who's supposed to be enabled somewhere. Like I'm sorry, go ahead and report it and ask them about it, but like we've gone through so many rounds of, oh, maybe this works, but then this doesn't, and this was supposed to work, but it didn't. And like between what we discussed internally and what's been live and the failings of my own memory, I just can't help you with that one. Morning frequency. The timing on Crossbone Special 2 the same as Apocalypse Special 2? Not the way my brain works anymore. Yeah, that's how it worked last year. Morning, Black Hole. Um, thinking so. I think I'm not going to answer that just yet. I don't want to take any thunder away from the May champions, so let's wait a couple weeks until they've been announced and we've talked about them, and then maybe I'll confirm class. Alberto, my main thing there is, are you sure Crossbones shrugged four parries? Or did four parries not work, right? Because if even one of them was due to ability accuracy reduction, then that might have been an issue. Well, that part is definitely worth a bug report, Cedra. Hey, Robert. I believe there's a limit on the deathless pieces. I don't remember exactly what it is, but you might have to mix and match and actually pay the unit price for some of them. What a Shahid. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's at play there, Alberto, but I also feel like that part of Sinister's kit probably just needs to be rebuilt, honestly. That's right, I forgot Masacre needed to be fixed that way too. It's not bad. This is my last path in 924. I'm just gonna have to ask you for more patience than that, Shahid. You don't even have access to those characters yet. We're not going to tell you when they're available in other ways. That's not how this works. Always ends up happening at some point. Jerk. Cool, Easy. I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, I thought about bringing Sunspot. Negasonic should work better. It's just the high recovery time on her special one makes it stupid. No, there are absolutely no deals for poolies today. Yeah, that was early. Thanks, Lawrence. You absolute jerk. There we go. Does Masakre have the highest block penetration in the game? Uh, in the literal sense, probably not, but in what you mean as far as, like, getting through block, probably. Because Masakre just has so many tools, right? He has built-in block penetration. He gets extra block penetration when ignited. He has Incinerate to shred your natural block proficiency. He has Disorient, which is slightly different in how it lowers block proficiency. And as a 7-star, he has access to stat focus. Plus the Valkyrie relic, right? You put all of those together, and he's probably doing more than literally anyone else. Incinerates are like poisons, and they compound. So one Incinerate cuts block proficiency in half. Two Incinerates cuts it down to 25%. Or she purifies right at the beginning. And evades right at the beginning. Huh, I thought she'd block that one. We do significantly more damage on the special too, but the true accuracy isn't quite long enough for it. Maybe I should have just used Masacre, but I was like, she's gonna evade more. Psst, case in point. Man! Oh, that was so annoying. See, that's exactly what I was worried would happen with Masacre. That's alright. Because that whole ecosystem was a nightmare, God of War. They're not actually combined, right? And the code behind it is weird. Like, think about the logic behind plasmas is a little bit different for all three of those characters. And neurotoxins, like, those were never coming back without changes, right? Like, the heal block that isn't a heal block is so unnecessarily overpowered. We could use neurotoxin again, but we'd have to strip that out of it. But yeah, I think the main thing is just the combining logic being weird. Because either you actually require the two dots to be applied, in which case you're doubly weak to immunity to either, right? Or you allow them to be applied through immunity the way Silver Centurion does, and then it's much harder to stop them. And neither of those are really a great spot for champion design. We'll see. I don't understand why you're bringing up Disintegration, God of War. Um, if that's supposed to be a counterpoint to something, you're going to need to help me follow you. Yeah, easy. Both Wiccan and Silver Centurion do it. I mean, definitely, Brennan, because you're not subject to immunities there, right? Not the same way, anyway. Yeah, but it's not. I understand what Disintegration does. And no, it's not only future Ant-Man. There are 3 or 4 characters with it now. Uh, but what it does isn't particularly relevant to our discussion here about combined types, right? Ouch. Alright, it's fine. Hey, TC. No, you are wrong. Sorry, I probably could have phrased that more tactfully if I wasn't in the middle of a fight. I shouldn't have even checked. Oh, that's gonna sting. That's alright. Sauron should cheese this, and that's plenty. Cool. Yeah, no, like you can't just say that 2 good things are equally overpowered, right? That's not how things work. Um, from a rhetoric perspective, that's called whataboutism, and that's not a good way to make your point. Um, to give you some insight into why they're not the same, neurotoxin doesn't reduce regen rate, which would be a closer analog to what disintegration does. Neurotoxin says cannot heal, right? It's not subject to somebody locking their own regen rate. It's not subject to somebody being immune to heal block. The only way to block it is to be immune to neurotoxin. That's very different than disintegration, right? We already have characters that resist the CPR reduction in disintegration, and that's fine. Neurotoxin is a different beast. It's not quite enough to do, but that's okay. We want to get the degen up, and then we want to cheese them. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not doing this properly, but this is very interesting. That's definitely a bug with Sauron. The way he's interacting with the disorients here. Alright, now throw the special one. Cool. That's the cheese I wanted. I did not. I also literally told you yesterday I wasn't going to report it myself that day. You bringing it up again, it's pretty funny. Yes, all champions are subject to balance changes. Not Gallon necessarily. Like, I Gallon is not up for rebalancing because Gallon is not a new champion, right? Cyclops and Phoenix are new champions. They're subject to balancing. It is worth a reminder that we have the legal ability to change whoever we want in the game. It is in the terms of service, and no court would take that away from us. But we don't currently have plans to change it. So, like, don't freak out about that, but it's also worth underlining because I don't like people getting too set in the, like, oh, okay, okay, but you can't touch this stuff at all. No, we definitely can. Yeah, Future Ant-Man hits hard. We're aware. So you think, God of War. So you think. Herbert instead of Herbie. Not altogether thrilled by that tone. Alright. Uh... Oh, it bugs the crud out of me that that should be 2 or fewer buffs. That's okay, so we want intercept, we want destroy. Oh, that's dumb. No, we don't want destroy. I'm sorry, but that's bad design. Because destroyed defense is explicitly allowing you to put rubble buffs on the opponent, right? But snowballing indestructible isn't. And so there's no point in bringing destroy to play into destroyed defense with somebody like Spiral or Destroyer, because they're going to do 0 damage anyway. Like, when you're using those characters against opponents with a lot of buffs, they always have just a ton of rubble buffs. Yeah, that's a miss. That's unfortunate. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I take a couple notes real quick on these two. I know it's already live, this isn't a beta, but it's worth shouting out anyway. Okay. Hmm. I'm sorry. I'm going to laugh at you a little bit there, God of War. They said it would be scaling this way. I don't know how it would scale. It would be scaling that way. I'm sorry. What is the confusion? Yeah, ramping Cersei's a good shout. Yeah, Cersei's fun. We'll bring the cow as a backup. I don't think I'm gonna stay too long for the deals, but I probably will stay a little bit after noon if that's when they drop. If they drop all the way at 1 for me, which I think they might, I'm not sticking around for that. I can't afford to lose that much time. There's not a good way to see prestige in game, but technically, yes, you can. Um, there are a couple. One second. Calm down, God of War. That was a very good illustration of why she doesn't need the bug. We got 10k DPS there, dude. Or, sorry, damage per ticket. Tick. That's 20k DPS. Okay, where is this? Think this might be Prestige over on the side, but I can't remember. It's it is so funny how long it's been since I used this part. No, okay, so that isn't doing it. Do I have to go and look at somebody else's? That might be how this works. Okay, and they don't have any selected. Come on, Nier, I'm trying to make a point here. Sim! Okay. I think if you're looking at somebody else's, this is Prestige, but it's been a long time and I honestly don't remember. If that works, that's the only way. Or that's the only clean way, because the only other way is to completely clear all of your masteries. And that is obviously a bit expensive. Yeah, Amjad, I did Black Panther. Okay. If the servers would like to respond any day now. Hmm. I don't see a reason that anybody would gain armor up through Rintra's neutralizes here. That's weird. Yeah, but easy. They said they asked if there was a way without third-party tools, right? And Aunt May and Conchu, where it's correct, are very obviously third-party tools. Ouch. Yeah, that's not one to punish. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but there's some talking in the background and it's getting to me. One second, I'm gonna pause. This is driving me insane. Gotta close the door. I literally just said that, God of War. I said, where correct. Most of them are correct. Well, it's not just talking, it's basically yelling at a distance, and that, yeah. Not... Don't have a ton of tolerance for that. Jerk. It's not nullify immunity, it's nullify immunity with a removal trigger. God of War, I'm gonna need you to not try and guess what's involved with implementing literally anything, please. If you don't work on the team, you don't know. But I will say to Frequency's question, in-game would require a lot more UI work. Having an official one on the website that accesses our data would be a lot more doable. Scarlet Witch objectively better than Iron Fist on Kushala. Objectively with relic pairings is a weird thing. Like, if you're trying to put numbers on things, Captain America is a better relic for Photon than Spider-Man 2099, but if you badly need periodic buff immunity to Dex, then Spidey's better, right? There are just nuances to that stuff. But I do definitely prefer the Scarlet Witch relic on Kushala because it synergizes so powerfully with her blessings. Nice, Grom. Appreciate you. What's the rarest immunity? Probably Nova Flame. Yeah, it's not that mind-boggling when the whole point of the dot was to get around immunity, right? To a point frequency. But like if you want the kind of filtering tools or searchability that you would get on a website, then that's not going to work super great in the web view in game. It's very likely armor or fury. Rude. Hey, Pablo. I'll poke him. Well, see, that's just ruder. Yeah, I haven't built tech yet, Ryan. Ouch. That was my fault. Thank you. Jerk. He's so annoying to intercept. Just the stupid little light punches. Yeah, it's fine. I don't even care. I don't think it's gonna kill us, and then he's gonna try and gain buffs, and he'll die. Cool. Yeah, I think Longshot Special 3 is basically just defensive. But yeah, I don't disagree. I love this dialogue. Have you been consorting with any eldritch entities? As one does. No chance in hell. There is no way that we are putting Fractured Power Bar on all Mystics. And I understand why you're asking, because I said when we built it that people are going to ask for this on all Mystics. No. Like, so many Mystics were built around having a little bit, like, having power that was balanced by you needing to actually do a rotation, right? Retroactively removing all of that tension and leaving all of their abilities intact would be way, way overpowered for the entire class. There's no way we are ever going to do that. Asterisk. Not if not if Mystic Dispersion still exists, right? Like, the only way we would do something that fundamental to how the class is balanced is if we also did something in the other direction that fundamental. Yeah, a few Mystics have ways to avoid being pushed to Special 3, which was an intentional design choice. But a lot of them don't. I do love Medusa diegetically complaining about us not adding any Inhumans in years, though. Justice for Crystal and Gorgon. It is definitely intended only for idols for now. Like, the tech allows us to give it to other champions, sure, but that's not something we're going to do lightly. For all the reasons I just said, right? Whoops. Right, right. That's gonna hurt. I think we just lose here. So what if we didn't? The anti-unblockable plus the counterpunch node being on this fight and neither of them having any HUD indications until you get bopped is something we should have fixed. I don't answer those questions, God of War. I don't pick favorites. At least the 4 idols we have planned thus far do all have fractured power bars. Yes, that is built into them. How did you... Wait, what? Oh, because she auto-blocked and then had... okay. I wasn't really paying attention, I'm not gonna lie. And then that's gonna hurt. And then... Okay, cool. Okay, so the question I was gonna ask before I got distracted by getting hit, it's like I should focus on the game or something, is how was Vox good for this if the node stops him from getting undermined? Or stops them from getting undermined. Hey, Forgotten, how's it going? Okay, you're saying special 3 needed. But then that doesn't sound fun. Yeah, Tuma would be good. Hey, Omega, thanks for stopping by. Is there anyone who's reverse controls immune and nullify immune? It's not coming to me. Hey, Fred. No, but that's the thing. The node doesn't say undermine gets 100% less ability accuracy, right? It says the attacker cannot gain undermine effects. That's not the same thing. Overseer with Hulk synergy. That is a good shout. Thank you, Callum. Viv with special 3. That's a less good shout for Black Bolt, but I appreciate the energy. Hey, King Shark. If I had my choice, Martin had already be done. And hi, BT. Yeah, I'm not surprised that somebody mentions Jugs. He just doesn't exist on my account, despite being SIG 140 naturally, so we're doing something else. Okay. Ooh, actually requiring special intercept is tricky. Sinister isn't nullify immune, but yes, he is reverse controls immune. That is true. Throw in Overseer now. I like that shout. Bring Nefaria too. And Leader. I'm gonna see how Gene works for Patriot. I like Shocker. No, because Emma will cap him, so not that. And he might be fun. I haven't tried special intercepting with her. There's a chance that these are terrible choices, but we'll give it a go. I'm assuming, Slughead, that you specifically mean you trigger counterpunch and immediately throw the special, not medium then special, right? Yeah, then that makes sense. I don't even realize, or I don't even know who I just entered the fight with. Okay, the leader, that's fine. Gotta watch that glancing. What did I just say? Alright. That's a lot of regen. Jerk. Alright. Jean didn't do as much damage as we would have liked there, but we did get the intercept. The intercepts definitely get harder as they gain more Scourge charges, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I shouldn't have forced that, but that's alright. She's doing okay. Ah, if I'm not careful, that Patriot Special 2 always gets me. Not gonna lie. Okay. I have 7-star 6 stones from previous sagas with the Heart of Fire champs retroactively be able to use them if they belong to the respective saga pool. If they belong to that pool, then I think so. I actually don't know how they're implemented, if it's a static champ list or if it's looking for the tags. And then the question would also be, were the 7-star 6 stones built with the same tag list as the 6 stars, which would make sense. But I honestly don't know frequency. If they don't, that might be something you could contact support about, but we'll see. You better be joking about the regen thing, God of War. That was very rude. I was trying to dex the beginning. I don't know exactly what happened. The special 2 decks for Patriot is very doable. It's just, you know, we ended up shipping him as not as hard a defender as we might have. And so you never see him, and so you're never used to it. At least I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna keep practicing with the fire. That's not how this sail works, Frequency. Oh, I can't evade at all against her, right? So there's no point. Yeah, because she's in telepath form. Okay. Well, should have brought, or should have just gone straight to leader, but that's okay. How does Nefaria perform unawakened? Fine, but there are definitely some losses. Where are you? There he is. Yeah, like it's mainly just good for the big chunks and the auto ramping. But like he ramps a bit anyway from that stuff, so it's not as big a deal. I am excited for spring cleaning. I am not putting it in the chat and pinning it just yet because then you would see it early, and I'm not gonna leak. But I will be sharing. I built a calculator again this year, and I will be sharing that around. So keep an eye on my YouTube social page because I think I'll put it there now that I don't use Twitter anymore. Rest in pieces. But I think I'll probably also put it on Blue Sky for those of you who are there. I've barely used that app either, but might get more used to it. And then I don't know, I'm sure you'll see it floating around Discord and stuff. But yeah, keep an eye out. I almost never max things, Ryan, but yeah, I do tend to spend. Abraham Lincoln is dead, said John Wilkes Booth. Um, Leader should still be fine here. He's Sig 200, isn't he? Haha, steadfast. No power efficiency for you. Alright. God of War, that's not how design works, right? Like, Void wouldn't be the same champion that he is if severe debuffs had been a thing at the time. Like, you can't just look at a character that was balanced the way they are, that has existed the way they are, and then go, what if they had this completely different ability that would dramatically change their viable matchups? That's not how it works. Sure it is, Finn, because we're not going to ship that synergy. Also, having looked at Void's code, that synergy would be so, so annoying to build. Alright. Hey, dogs. Yeah, you definitely do not always have to stay inside the door with leader. It's nice when it works out, but the more healing and power gain there is in the fight, the less that matters. Ah. I didn't realize how slow Overseer's lights were. Didn't get anywhere close to him, and then I had time to block. Silly. Alright, come on, buddy. Well, that's way too much for a relic, yeah. Again, the code would be a nightmare. I know that's not y'all's responsibility to keep in mind, but it certainly is mine. Nope, that's fine. Ah. Need a bigger door. Nah, get good. Nah, I don't think we would do a mutant with severe debuffs because the whole point for mutants is you either use passives, you replace your debuffs with passives, or you otherwise punish Purify, right? Preventing the Purify outright is much less of a mutant thing. It doesn't really make sense in that class, in my opinion. Yeah, well, pseudo reworks were bad frequency. Um, like, synergies have maybe ebbed a little bit too much, in my personal opinion. But our reaction after Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch was the correct one. I feel very strongly about that. A synergy for a character that is so much that it locks them out of a future rarity or complicates their potential future rework is not good for the game. That's just like objectively, I think, pretty true. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read that, John, but I did see you mention it. Why no relic on Jean? Because I took it off her for something else. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm sorry. I'm being a little flippant here, but like I want to kind of reinforce that, maybe not reinforce. This is going to sound really jerkish and I'm sorry for that, but like this content is not hard for me. Um I haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to getting the best counters, honestly. I haven't been playing super well. I keep reading chat and getting hit in the face. Um and I haven't spent any items yet. And I'm not saying that to brag at all. What I'm saying is, like, this content for my comfort with the characters and for my roster, especially, is not difficult. And so I just am not willing to be that sweaty about it. Like, I'm going to go into paths with characters without relics. I'm going to miss interactions because I wasn't thinking that hard about it. I'm not going to do research on who are the best counters. I'm here to have fun. So, like, I'm asking you, if you hear me say this and then you see something in the future, if you are actually trying to understand an interaction that you think you may have missed, and you're asking a question like, "Why did you do that?" Because that looks like, I mean, is there something I'm missing? Then please ask. Like, that is very much the purpose here. But if you were asking a question where you know the answer is I didn't think about it, or you are 100% confident it's a mistake, why bother? What does it accomplish? And I say that with no malice. I'm not upset at you at all, dogs. I get questions like this a lot, and I think it kind of comes from people with smaller rosters who do need to be more optimal for this content, right? And I completely understand that. And I understand the impulse to project that on me and other YouTubers, but it doesn't always work that way, right? Like, I am being more casual with this because I can, and because it allows me to have a good time and to stream with y'all and to just kind of like chat and shoot the shoot, so to say, right? And so, if as much as possible, I would like us to keep that energy. Yeah, and worth saying, BT, my overseer is only rank 2, which did not help with how quickly I took out that black bolt. I don't think so, Sim. You'd probably understand what I meant. Where I'm just like, this content is relatively easy for me, and so I am going to let myself make mistakes in places because it means that I'm having more fun. If Black Bolt ever gets an animation rework, it'd be sick if his special too is like Bishops with him just speaking. That's kind of funny. Although immediately my head went to like it looking like Emma with the way she like throws her hair back for it. I know that's not quite what you mean. Um, Black Bolt needs a huge rework like Medusa. Um, do you think the rework Medusa got was huge? Because I don't. Argument about synergies deny someone like Hela the possibility of a 7-star. I'm not going to say that Hela is not possible as a 7-star, but she would absolutely be more on the table for probably a tune-up, if not for her silly synergies. As it is, she's in this really awkward place where like we have to worry about her breaking data dashboards with her DPS, and that makes us hesitate to release her at a higher rarity. But she also wouldn't be good enough for the Titan crystal, right? Because I think this is something that some people miss. Very often for things like the Titan crystal, um, people will project their personal thoughts on that character and go like they're too strong, they're too weak, they're a bad fit or whatever. And we're not always going to agree, but for someone like Hela where no one plays her with the exception of like 5 people, that is not somebody you put in a crystal and then hope that people will pull them and have a good time, right? And so like there are a few 7-stars like that, kind of in this no man's land, where it's like they're not quite good enough, but they're also too good. And that is why those kinds of synergies are a problem. Yeah, for sure, easy. And that's why I don't mean any malice here. Um, do I have a potential rank 4 in mind? I'm probably going to wait just to have all of the information from my Hearts of Fire polls. We'll see. I don't remember your question, Crom, about the light essence, so might as well ask it again. Okay, I do need to go to work sometime soon, but we got one more path, and then I can just have it just be the final one, so let's do this. All right. Cosmics, armor breaks, light attacks, crits, knockdown. Have a way to knock down that isn't necessarily parry heavy. Okay. Serpent, Hyperion, Gamora. What do you do? Okay, this is a funny fight. That's like pure skill though, so that's fine. Um, I'm gonna leave Jean in because that sounds fun, and then let's bring in some cosmics. All right, boom, boom, boom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I said Gamora. Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, actually, you know what? Adam sounds better here. Or more fun to me, anyway. I'm sure rank 4 Adam hits like a truck. Thanks, Doc. I appreciate that. I'm glad glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, like fun little synergies are cool, right? I don't mind adding a little bit, right? Like I photon synergies with Negative and Elsa that give them an answer to Unfazed, but also give them a little bit more. Like Negative gets another debuff, Elsa um, gets anti-miss. Like I like those. I think those are cool, but we got to be careful with them. That's the hard part. That is cool, Snoops. Shocker! Jerk. Whew! That one was close. Alright, not quite a 30-second fight. This is going okay. That was early. Thanks, Frequency. I do put 3 left. Because the armor shatter prevents future armor breaks. That is a good shout. Yeah. Still has the pulverize, but you're right. Surprise Shocker did special one stun you through the pod. Is that a chance based on charges? Because I was keeping his charges pretty low. That's a tough one, GG. Wait one second. Undupe Spot, Duped Morbius, or Sorcerer Supreme. I feel like you can use any of them. They're all a bit off the beaten path, to be completely honest. But I feel like any of those 3 would be fair rank ups. The question is basically, which ones do you enjoy playing, and then which ones are giving your roster some extra depth, right? Yeah, that was my fault. Like, Morbius and Spot are more damage. Both of them have a bit of utility, but it's a little bit, again, off the beaten path. Yeah, Sorcerer, not everybody likes. She's a little bit slower, finicky in some ways, but I'm quite a fan, and she has really nice utility. So my instinct would be her, but again, it depends on what you need. Never use Morbius anymore makes me a little sad. Yeah, I understand that. I think he's a good champion, but it's not really what the class is asking for most of the time. How to pronounce Cheel Sig? I'm not going to do that off the top of my head, but it is in her spotlight, if you want to take a look at that. So that should be on the website. And I very much appreciate the commitment to getting it right. I have such rotten luck with Hype Special 2 stuns. Yeah, like the way I'd put it, Snoops, is that it's not that Morbius doesn't have decent utility, but it's not really utility that you tend to reach for when you're using a science champion. That's a bit of a problem. I don't think that would make sense for Surfer while he still has Energize in his kit, John. Two sources of power gain at the same time is a wee bit of a no-no in my book. I'm pronouncing Claw of the Bear because I know my limits. Which take that. Peter, thank you. Oh, I guess these armor breaks are big. I was expecting burst damage on the special too, and we did none, which means that his armor had to be 0. And I thought that between natural armor and the one that we left up, it still would be, but interesting. Serpent with inexorable and power gain. That is cute. I feel pretty comfortable with that one, though, because A, that's more defensive, and I don't think John was proposing a defensive rework of Surfer. B, it is pretty limited, tied to the other economy, and then on offense, yes, you can technically use it, but it requires getting hit, taking damage in some way. It's a good response. Totally fair to challenge me on that, but I feel like it's different enough that what was it? I may have said no, but it's more of like a strong orange flag, and I feel like it's done with enough reasons on Serpent that it's okay. Oh, you are definitely misunderstanding Morbius's Sig. Um, it is so much better than you think it is. 1 second. There we go. That was a good Adam one. But yeah, you do not need Sig 200 on Morbius. Let me pull him up. This is something that not everybody knows, so definitely good to take a moment on. Yeah, so Morbius starts with a 30% chance to inflict a rupture debuff when the opponent's immune to bleed, right? But if you have the fervor buff, because it's a 100% fervor, that 30% is actually 60% because it increases the ability accuracy of a damaging debuff immediately at Sig 1. If you're at Sig 20, then it's already a 50% chance, which means that when you have the fervor, it is guaranteed. So if you have Morbius duped even once, he's reliable against bleed immunes. Yeah, no, I totally understand why it wouldn't feel like it works that way. So no shade meant at all. It's good to highlight. I'm sure the two of you aren't the only ones that was new info for, but yeah, worth pointing out. Jerk. There we go. That's an annoying amount of time to go without an armor break. Love Adam. Milestones are live. Very cool. I think we're good to just skip. We've got options here. Hold on. Why did I just take... stage fright. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and now I'm remembering why his special 3 is locked, because otherwise this fight did not work at all, because you couldn't bait him. So I need to let myself do that. That was my fault. I should have done the light, or I just should have gone for it. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm remembering this fight now. Yeah, I like the fight at all. It's just because, or a lot. It's just that because of the way that, because of the way that AI interacts with Root, you have to be very careful with it, right? Nice. Okay, it's a fun fight. Yeah. No, that's a really good fight. The special 3 lock was all it took to fix it. Because the first time I fought or I took that fight, I just died to special 3s over and over again, and I was so angry. But no, that's good. Okay. Yeah, there you go. I thought I did the math earlier, and it's been a bit. Okay, no, that's just pool shields. That's not money spent. Yeah, pretty sure I'm gonna have a Deadpool and a Red Guardian today. Nothing else is live, right? Yeah. Alright, well, as fun as it would be to stick around for 20 more minutes and be late to all of my meetings and get none of my personal work done today, I have to prep a little bit for the next one. So, I'm going to dip out, but thank you all for hanging out. And again, keep an eye on my YouTube page and or Discords if you're in the Overlook with me. And I will share out that calculator soon as it is not a leak for me to do so. All right, take care, everybody.